You're welcome to today's class. Today we are going to look at arrays and pointers. Now we are looking at three-dimensional arrays. We've done two-dimensional arrays in the last class, and we've done one-dimensional array in our previous class. So today we are looking at three-dimensional arrays, and I'm going to reveal a lot of information in this class. So please pay very close attention to what I'm going to say. So first and foremost, I keep referencing you to a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh, right? But the truth is, life is inside out and not outside in. It is when the inside is completed, every disobedience on the outside will be what will fall in line. So what that means is, whatever you are being taught is actually about yourself, which is your body, your soul, and your spirit. And you are a complete being. There is no such thing as half, and then you need another half to complete you. That is for this dimension. We are going to look at it. Now, in the beginning, God created heavens and earth, right? So we are going to look at that concept in this three-dimensional array. So first, I'm going to declare an array, a 3D array, and then I will show you how you create the pointer that points to a 3D array. So let's declare an array. So I will call it int. I will still use body, right? And then I will have 2, 3, and then I will have 4. So this is me declaring a three-dimensional array. So how many elements will this array have? So 2 times 3 is 6 times 4. So total element equals to what? 24. Okay. Now, what does this three-dimensional array means? It means we have 2 depth. So we are having something of this nature. So we have something of this nature, right? So we have something of this nature, and then we have this. So we have this, and then we have this. Don't make this to be too long. So we have this. Just manage that. So then we have this. So we have 1, and then we have this. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then, so we have this. So we're having 0, 1 as the depth, 0, 1, 2 as the rows, which is this one. Then we have 0, 1, 2, and 3. That is for the columns, right? So we have, these are rows, and then these are columns. So 0, 1, and then this is what? Depth, right? So because this is depth, let me write it. Depth, then we have rows, and then these are what? Columns, right? That is what you have. Now, this is a three-dimensional array. So you have, let me use this. So inside it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, when you look at this from the top, so you have 12 for this first block, right? Then you have another 12 again for this second block. So that gives you 24 elements. So 12 disciples, 12 tribes. So that's what we are looking at. Now we look at the tabernacle. The instruction that was given to Moses: make sure that every design of the physical tabernacle is exactly as it was shown to you in the heavens. So you have the heavens and the earth. So you are having everything the same alignment. I hope you are following. So I've declared this. Now, how am I going to write a pointer that will point to this? So this array is having a type of 2, 3, 4. So if I am going to access the type for this first row, it's going to be what? Int body, right? 3, 4. So this will be the type for the first block. This will be the type for the first block, int body 3, 4. So the array, the pointer must point to this type. So to get a type for this pointer, I will say int, then I will call it soul, then I will have 3, then I will have 4, right? So this is my pointer declaration. So what is this telling me? That this soul first is when it points to the first block, when you declare a pointer to an array, to a one-dimensional array, it's actually pointing to the address of the first element. So in this one, let me just initialize it, and then I'll put this one as body, right? So meaning this is pointing to this. Now, when you declare a pointer for a 1D or a one-dimensional array, that name resolves to the address of the first element. When you declare a pointer to a 2D array, that name resolves to the rows. So in the case of a 3D array, the name, which is this body, is resolving to what? To the block. So that is depth. So depth 1, depth 2, which is the height. Do you understand? So you have these 12 rows and column for this first depth, rows and column for the second depth. That is why the type for the first depth is this. So your pointer is going to point to this. So when the pointer points to this, then you can now try to see how you can access the first row and the first column to get the value out. So if I'm going to get out this value for 1, which is 1, that will be what? Print f, and I say %d, right? Let me still put my /n, which is new line in case. So I'm going to have soul. Then I'll have 0, 0, 0. Then I'll close this. So I'll end this here. Now to get out this value, so this one will give me 1, which is this one. Meaning I will go to the address, right? The address for this depth, let's say the address is 100. This one, the address is 104, right? So I will go to the address of this depth. Then when I get to that address, that is this 0 here, when I get to it, this first block has stacks. So these are two-dimensional arrays on top of another two-dimensional array. So when I get to that first block, then I'm going to see the first row and then the first column. So I am here at this point. Then I get to the first row. This is the first row. This is the first row, right? And then, which is this one, first row. So this one tells me the depth. This one tells me the row. Then this one tells me the column. So the first column. So that will give me this. If I want to access 2, that will be sol 0, 0, 1. Right? With this one, I can access 2. So I will get to the first block, which is this first block. And then inside this first block, I will get to the first row, which is this one. And then I will go to the second column, which is this one, using index. So I'll pull out 2. Now, how do I access the 13th element? Which means I'm entering the heaven. So first I was on earth, then I want to move into the heaven. How do I track that point? So that is the 13th element. So to get the 13th element, all I simply need to do is sol. Now, using my pointer arithmetic, assuming I do sol plus plus, this one would take me to the what? To the second block, which is this. So this place will be 1, then I will come 0, then I will come 0. So when I get to this block, it tells me my pointer is going to this block. So when I get to this block, then I will access the first row in that block, which is this, and then I will access the first column in that block, which is this. So this one is on top of it. Now when you get to that place, this one will give me the 13th element. So if I want to get the last element, which is what? 24, that will simply be sol 1, then sol 1, then the row, which is this row, 2, then the column, which is 3. This one will give me 24. So this 1, 2, 3 will give me 24. That's how I use my pointer to access any of the values in this. Right? So that is what I want to show you. Time will not permit me. I will just take you to code blocks and then we'll execute the program that I've written for this, which I taught you in my three-dimensional array class using loops. But in this case now, I'm using a pointer to point to it. And through this pointer, I can move. Through pointer arithmetic, I was able to move into this. So I can use pointer arithmetic to access each of these elements. So the first thing I will do is, I will do sol plus 0 to access the first block. Then I will do this. That is to dereference the first block. So to get to the first row, I will do this. Then I'll dereference it. Then to get to the first element, I'll do this and I'll dereference it. So this is my pointer using pointer arithmetic to access the first element. Now, if I want to access the 13th element, it's just I'll do this sol plus 1. That will bring me what? To the first block. Then I'll dereference it. Then plus 0, I'll dereference it. Then plus 0, I'll dereference it. So this one will give me the first element of the first block, while this one will give me the first element of the second block, which is actually what? The 13th element. So using this pointer arithmetic, I'll move to the next address. So that is how you can achieve that with pointers, accessing all the values that are here. The religious texts are programming codes, and we must learn to decode it within the context of religion to know the exact thing that we are looking for. Now, I told you that it's actually about your body, your soul, and your spirit alignment. Everything that we are doing is about your body, your soul, and your spirit alignment. Once you get that straight inside, everything on the outside will obey. So that is what my class is all about, using programming language to explain the code in the religious text. So let's go to code blocks. Let me just run this program for you to see. Okay, so these are code blocks, and this is the program for the 3D arrays. So this is me declaring the array, right? And then creating a pointer that points to it. So this pointer is pointing to body, which is actually pointing to this first block, address of this first block. So now trying to access my element. Sol, this one will print out 1, this one will print out 13, and then this one will print out 24, which is the last element. So let's execute it and see. So you see, print out 1, 13, and 24. So that is what I want to show you in this class. So to see in the next class, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. Bye-bye.